Welcome back to our fourth and final episode of, not Watch Chat Play, but of our political sessions, I guess I can say.
Yeah.
So we cover Republicans, we cover the Democrats, you just took us through the Libertarians, and now we're going to finish it off with the Green Party, which I know nothing about.
I know very little, and looking it up, looks like a lot of people don't know much, and it seems like another cut and dry kind of thing, too.
Cool. So the goal for all of these things has not been to persuade or make you lean one way or the other. We do not care what you stand on as far as the show is concerned. Individually, we both got our stances, but as far as the show...
You do you, boo-boo.
You do you. We want you to be informed. I don't want you to just read something angry on Facebook and go, oh, now I'm a whatever, or take some stupid quiz online. I want you to think about what your values are, what your stances are, and then I want you to find the party that represents those properly. That's what I want. So we already discussed Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Cameron, Green Party.
What? Look at my notes. What do you think the Green Party is? Think of the name.
I think that they are pro-environment. I think they worry about fossil fuels. I think they worry about greenhouse gases. I think they worry about the falling of trees. And I think they're pro the legalization of marijuana.
They're basically just a bunch of potheads.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Kidding. No, you are pretty much correct.
Cool.
They are environmentalists.
Sweet.
They lean heavily to the left. It's like the extreme left. Very nonviolent.
The left or the Democrats?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a step beyond that.
Yes.
And the Libertarians were...
Right.
So
Super right.
Super right. Okay, just so we're all getting the verbiage down.
Yep. Very nonviolent. Violence is not the answer to anything.
So pacifist, no military.
No military.
Whoa! All right,
pull them in.
Sorry,
pull them in.
Sorry.
They are against violence in any form.
Okay.
Which is probably why they're not so popular. But I have another reason why they're not so popular. We'll get to later.
Okay.
They are all about social justice. I made a joke earlier. They are the social justice warrior party. Like, they are all about being, the people that save the people that are frowned upon. Like, if I'm making fun of you, they're going to be the ones to step in and say, hey, stop that. That's them.
Okay.
Gender equality, anti-racism, all that fun stuff. The stuff that makes sense.
So social equality for all.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Everyone's equal. There's no reason to fight. Just get along.
So pro same-sex marriage, all that stuff.
Pro anything that... I'm trying to think of an easy way to put this. Anything that is about, love or stuff like that, it's fine.
Okay. So are they against abortion?
I don't know. That was not something that they stood on, so that probably means that they might be against abortion.
Because we have been talking in terms of like the really, really big issues that they stand on. So Republicans are, they're against same-sex marriage, they're against abortion, they have traditional values. Democrats are kind of the opposite. They're kind of pro-choice. They, are for same-sex marriage. So the thing that we've been kind of saying like over and over is like you got to find those core fundamental values that you agree with or disagree with, and then figure out the party that kind of reflects that. So that's why we're asking those specific questions, because those are the biggest divisions in like friends and families and stuff like that.
So this makes perfect sense. Women's right to control their bodies is non-negotiable.
Really?
Include contraception in all health insurance coverage.
So they are 100% pro-choice.
Yep. Unequivocally supports a woman's right to reproductive choice no matter her marital status or age, and the contraception and safe legal abortion procedures be available on demand and be included in all health insurance coverage in the U.S., as well as free of charge in any state where a woman's income falls below the poverty level.
So that's interesting to hear that a group that's all pro-love and, whatever would be pro-choice.
It's their body. It being their body would make them, like, if it's going to hinder someone's ability to live their life, I'm sure, I don't know, I'm trying to justify
See, that's weird
yeah.
because it's hindering that baby's right to life.
It probably goes along the lines of the whole, is it life?
Okay. Yeah, and again, regardless of if I agree with their stance in light of their other stances, that doesn't matter. Like, that's what their stance is. So they are pro-choice. They believe in birth control everywhere.
Morning after pill, affordable and easily accessible, without a prescription.
Okay. That's
wow.
All right, so
yeah. They are eco-socialists, which I had pulled up until I switched this over.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Let me pull this
That was
up
a big
here.
question, though.
They are. We'll skip that for now while I look this up.
Okay.
They support responsible capitalism.
What does that mean?
That is. Oh shoot! Now I'm distracted.
Sorry.
See what you did.
Sorry, man. Well, because it's a big deal. Because I feel like
Come back.
it's got to make sense. And for the Republicans and the Democrats, they pretty much know what they are and they say what they are, with the exception of one or two people. And like different stuff, like there's like a division on the stance on like immigration and war and affirmative action and stuff like that. Because some of the nominees and the people that are running for president kind of switch depending on who's in the room at the time. But what we're trying to do is really anchor down like the core fundamental values that each platform has to make it easier for you to figure out what you want to do. But again, if we're getting something wrong, or if there's something that's inaccurate, or if you happen to be a member of the Green Party, please, send us a message. Let us know in the comment section. Like, let us know, like, what are your stance, what are your beliefs, what are your values, all that good stuff, because we want to make sure that we're right. This isn't necessarily about Cameron and I telling you what to believe at all. This is about making sure that we all are all right and informed, because you got to exercise your right to vote as an American.
Okay, so responsible capitalism. It's an award that is given to a business that does these beliefs. Based on the belief that whilst commercial success can be measured in terms of standard criteria, social responsibility involves a far greater sense of the needs of the wider community in which a business operates, as well as environmental initiatives and support for the arts and culture.
Say it one more time.
It's based on the belief that whilst commercial success can be measured in terms of standard criteria,
Okay.
which, money, of course.
So, yeah, profits and stuff.
Yep. Social responsibility involves a far greater sense of the needs of the wider community in which a business operates.
So if you have a farm, it's less about making money. It's more about making sure that the needs of your community, everybody's fed, a chicken in every pot.
Yes.
Okay.
As well as environmental initiatives and support for the arts and culture. So not only are you making sure everyone's fed, you're being green about it.
The arts and culture part kind of is confusing. What does that have to do with the capital part? So if we're saying that it's not about making money, it's about making sure that everybody's taken care of, the arts and culture part, are they pro...
This is an award. Responsible capitalism is an award.
What?
Yeah, that was the first thing I said.
What do you mean it's an award?
It's a given to a business based on this criteria. So the Green Party supports responsible capitalism, which is an award given out.
Oh, it sounded like you were saying that this was like an ideology. Like this is...
It is. I mean, it's an award based on these ideologies. So
Okay.
if this business, makes sure everyone is cared for as well as being green, as well as supporting, these...
Yeah.
Bring in someone that's an engineer. That's technically an art.
Okay. If it sounds like we're like debating a little bit, it's because we're really trying to make sure that we get to the core of what everything is. So
because these are very unknown parties, and I'm trying to figure it out as he goes. Because some of these things don't make sense. Like these are questions I've never thought of because I've never really talked about the Green Party.
Because you generally only hear about the other two, Republican and Democrat. But it's important to address all four because these are the big four.
Eco-socialist. While we got off of that is, if you. Come on. My stupid Wi-Fi. It's a vision of transformed society in harmony with nature and the development of practices that can attain it. It is directed toward alternatives to all socially and ecologically destructive systems such as patriarchy, racism, homophobia, and the fossil fuel-based economy.
Interesting.
So, green. I mean, that makes sense.
Right. For them.
Support small business, of course.
Uh-huh.
They are all about the grassroots democracy, which we talked about a few seconds before we started this.
Which is what? What is grassroots democracy?
Everything should be cared for on the lowest possible government step. So your local government over your federal government.
So your local town hall meetings and city council meetings, and then your mayors, and then your governors, and then or never your governors or senators.
Yeah, hopefully everything's taken care of on that lowest step. But if you can't get it settled, then it takes it a step up.
Yeah, I mean,
just like you would with a manager. You take it to you're not going to your district manager because you have a problem with.
Right, you go to your first manager and then your second, and then if you don't, then I get that. That makes sense.
Yes.
Because what else is up? when I worked for a newspaper, I had to cover a lot of village council meetings, and a lot of it was really boring, but it was kind of cool. Sometimes they would have public participation where people could come and say, you guys are, and sometimes it was a lot of really dumb little stuff where you guys are coming and taking the trash at like 5 a.m. and there's dumpsters right next to my house and it's waking me up. But then other times it was really big stuff, the storm drain keeps on overflowing and it's flooding the entire street. Can you put in something else to kind of fix it? So I like the local government mentality. I think that's pretty cool. I just think it would be really difficult if, say we're in a community that's 100% like, we're in the Bible Belt and all we believe are like old school traditional values. Yep. And then here comes like another couple family, like a family of people that are like, same-sex marriage and stuff like that. I feel like that can't work in a very closed society on a very low level.
I do agree with that.
That would be my main concern.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's not flawed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably a reason why it's not super popular. We go back to just saying this. 2014 members of the Green Party, there's only 250,000 of them.
That is not a whole lot.
It's very, very small. So honestly, no one in the Green Party may watch this. If you do, please say something. Let us know how you think it would work.
Odds are no, but on the off chance,
I love the green aspect of it, but there's some other things that
Yeah.
It's just, it would be hard to have a president
like
just
that.
this.
Because think of part of the cabinet, you have the Pentagon, you have the chiefs of staff, you have all the military personnel. And then to have a guy walk in there and be like, you know what? You're all fired.
Yeah, that's a lot. Nonviolence, awesome, but that's a tough platform to stand on. And awesome to you, Jill Stein, who's running the Green Party.
Yeah, so Jill Stein is what? Who, how, when?
She's the candidate of the Green Party this time around. She's standing on this platform firmly. I don't think she's on every single ballot, though. I think, going back to Gary Johnson, he's on every ballot. So if you stand with him, you have the opportunity to vote for him on every ballot. His name will be there for you to check. I don't know if Jill Stein is going to be on every single one. She might be in just certain areas. I don't know. I don't know how the Green Party is going to work. But the cool thing that I find about the Green Party, this is the thing that stood out to me that I thought was really freaking awesome. They do not accept donations from any corporations or any PACs.
Which is very counter to everybody else.
Yes. Trump was doing a great job of it. He was funding himself there for a while. Bernie Sanders did an amazing job of just having people
donate
to him. He didn't accept any PACs, which was phenomenal that he stood as long as he did.
Ben Carson, that was a big thing for him too, because he Republican, so very faith-based community, old-fashioned values, and a lot of communities were backing him directly.
And the Green Party will criticize any corporation influence and control over government because of a corporation. Which that I completely 100%
For sure. Like the term movers and shakers?
Yeah.
That's what I feel anytime there's like a government entity that's supported by a corporation. That is exactly what that is. That's, I will support you X amount of dollars if you promise to not, tax me for exporting my goods to Taiwan or whatever.
That is exactly what lobbyists do.
Yeah.
They negotiate.
But that'd be another topic for another day.
Yep.
All right, so final thoughts about the Green Party.
I like what they stand for.
So boil it down one more time. So abortion. For it, against it.
For it.
Same-sex marriage.
Absolutely for it. Everything to do with the social justice, it's all there.
Military.
No, nonviolent.
Whatsoever.
From what I said, they are completely, that's their big standing point is nonviolence.
Same-sex marriage.
Absolutely.
And then, gender equality, affirmative action, all that stuff?
Yep. Everyone's equal.
Okay. Drug policy.
Drug policy, that's a good one.
Jules?
That was what I was
Okay.
Drug policy. Green.
I mean, green should mean go. So their drug policy should just say yes.
Nation is waking up to the end of the war on marijuana.
Yeah, there it is.
The silence on the illegal mass spying on Americans by the... What? This feels like a...
Like a conspiracy website.
Yeah. Cannabis/hemp is to be legalized.
Okay.
more drug counseling and treatment, replace
Okay.
drug board with treatment and alternative sentencing.
All right, so they seem to be very pro legalization of marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All
Yeah,
right. So as far as what would you want to see change this election cycle than previous election cycles? What do you if you could have anything, if you got to dear President Obama, I know you're leaving, but before you go, could you do this to make it easier for us to make a good decision? What would you want? What would you write?
I want media coverage that is non-biased, that is straight up facts, not leaning one way or the other, which everyone knows which places lean which way, just because they'll badmouth the other ones. I just want fair coverage.
And that is hard because even though we did as best of a job as we could, giving you 100% of the facts that we could find to inform you the best possible way that we could, but there were things that we read where we kind of cringed a little bit because you can't help but, each of us have our own moral compass. We all have our own values and stuff like that. So it's hard to read something that's very, anytime you say something about like getting rid of the military, I'm going to shudder at.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm wired. That doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. That's just how I'm wired. So it is hard to have that unbiased opinion, but for the most part, you can still, we're still arguing both sides of it. We're not just saying like, oh, well, screw this party. We're just saying that this is their stance.
Yeah, and every single one of these parties has things that I can get behind.
Cool.
If
I agree with that too.
Someone came out and stood on a platform that was everything, they'd have my vote. I'd probably try to run with them.
Do you fancy yourself like a independent, a Republican, a Democrat, conservative, libertarian? Do you even know?
I honestly don't know, because when I was growing up, I honestly thought myself a Democrat, but then I actually figured out what that was, and I see that I lean more right than anything. If anything, I'd probably say maybe libertarian, probably the closest to me, but there's still things that I just don't quite agree with.
Right.
But that's probably as close as I can get. Minimal federal hands and stuff. But I do like social plans where it's necessary.
Right. Like my father-in-law died of cancer last year, I believe, maybe a little bit longer than that. But I remember seeing how hard he tried to work as long as he could, and then he didn't, and then he was in, medical care a lot. It's a very expensive game, medical business.
Yes, it is.
So my mom-in-law had to work a lot to try to support that, and then take care of her husband who, dealing with chemo and stuff like that. So I remember thinking, like, there should be this just ridiculously big pile of money for people that legitimately need it to go, here, look, you have cancer. You're done. You're good. You take your time. Your wife can take your time. If your kids need to, they can take some time. And we've got you covered. That's how it should run. And then we have all these people that hadn't worked since they were 18 to 31. And that's where that money should be repurposed, but it can't because it's locked up somewhere else.
Popping out kids just so they get more money in. And
Makes me crazy.
Of course, you're going to have people abuse the system, but when it works nice.
Yeah.
Like if I were to, fall down on my luck right now, something terrible were to happen, I would hope that there was at least something out there that I could fall back to.
Right.
If I don't know, I can think of an example. I ended up breaking both of my legs and I couldn't do my job anymore.
Yeah.
I feel it would be great if there was something there to be like, you're fine until you heal.
Right. With the intent to get back to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can only be out so long.
Right. So for me, the letter that I would write would essentially say, I want to see every political candidate that's running for president on the same platform, and to give them all, like what we just did with Super Fight. We had a minute each. We took our minute each, and then when we were done, we stopped. I hated watching the debates because that was not at all. These are grown professional adults from companies and governments and whatever, and yet they didn't understand that you have 60 seconds.
Don't talk over each other.
It's ridiculous. So what I would love to see is every person who is representing whatever platform is running, I don't care from where, does not matter at all. If you're going to run for president, you need to get in front of my face so I can see what you have to say, what you stand on,
Absolutely.
what your abilities are. George W. Bush was my president the entire time I was in the Marines. Funny guy, really hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Barack Obama, very charismatic, talented speaker, really easy to listen to, which is why he has such sway. I need to be able to hear what you have to say and what your delivery system was. Ben Carson was a great guy, terrible public speaker.
Yeah, he felt shaky.
Yeah, shaky and unconfident, and he's very intelligent, very smart, very well.
Wasn't he a brain surgeon?
Yeah, he's a neurosurgeon. So one of the most difficult surgeries you can do. He's just not very adept at public speaking, which sucks. But I need to see that stuff. I need to know who they are and how they stand, and I want to see them side by side. That's what I want. And it just sucks that that's not at all what's going to happen. As far as like leanings, I have always considered myself an independent because I could be, Democratic about some things. I could be Republican about some things.
Yeah.
I, like you just said, there's a lot of things that I can get behind. But the thing that makes me the most crazy is people that say like, well, I'm a Republican, so I will only vote Republican regardless of what happens. That blows my mind. Like, you're telling me that if you're a Republican, there's not going to be a Democrat that happens to have like, holy crap, this guy kind of has it figured out. And
nail on the head.
And because you are a Republican, you absolutely will not look at that whatsoever. Like, that's crazy to me.
There's people that don't even look at their platforms. They just go in it's like Democrat.
Yeah, Democrat, Republican. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it so much.
So if you had to put yourself in one of these groups that we discussed, which one would you put yourself in?
It's too soon. I haven't decided yet.
At all. Like, based on the values that we talked about.
No.
Like, your closest leaning.
I absolutely would not pick the Green Party at all. I can say that with very clear confidence. The Libertarians, it's too murky.
Yeah.
I don't have enough information to make a clear decision.
The big thing, their biggest thing that one of my libertarian friends told me, do what you want as long as you don't hurt someone else's ability to do so. I'm like, that rung some kind of bell with me that made them stand out many years ago.
Yeah, I like all that, but there isn't enough information on like their governmental stance on like regulations and like public defense and national security. Those are really big issues with me that I don't have enough information on for me to say one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I know where the Democrats lean, I know where the Republicans lean, I know what their stances are, and I agree with some of them, I disagree with some of them, and it really just depends on, who's speaking at the time. That's the hardest thing about this whole thing is you agree with some stuff, you disagree with some other stuff, and it's like it's almost not fair that these are the stances, but it's
you've got two choices.
Yeah, it's not a perfect system, but that's kind of how it's been working. So I don't know. So I'm not going to tell you one way or the other yet because I haven't done enough research to decide. And I want you to hear how important that statement was. I haven't done enough research to decide. I haven't picked yet because I haven't heard everybody yet. Mm-hmm. I haven't read enough yet. I don't know enough yet to make an informed decision. And I feel like most of you haven't either. If there are two other people on the ballot besides Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, it's very possible that Jill Stein, this might be the first time you've heard that name.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's weird?
That's strange. I mean, I heard Jill Stein for the sheer fact there's almost a satirical article that I read earlier about her.
Okay.
And that's the only time I heard her name.
Yeah. So regardless of, I don't agree with her platform for a lot of different reasons. Some stuff she gets right. There's a lot of stuff I just don't agree with. But I've never heard her speak. I have no idea what her stance is. I don't even know what she looks like. Yeah, I have no idea. Couldn't pick her out of the lineup. There's no way. And that's a problem for me. I think that's a really big problem that I don't know the multiple people that are planning to try to run the country that I live in. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. At all.
Yeah. Well, I think you mistook my question.
Okay, sorry.
When I asked which way you leaned, I meant hypothetical. Like if you had a perfect person that ran like these exact standpoints, like just piece of paper, not a person, not a personality, like which one, based on the words.
Oh, so platform wise.
Like when do you think you would be able to put a foot on?
Man, I feel like I would go more libertarian, but I don't have enough information on their military.
See, that's one of those things that kind of blows my mind. When you talk about it, people are like, that makes sense. But there's shady things in it, of course. But it's like that. I like it, but I don't know it.
Because I like a lot of the stuff that the Democratic Party has to say, but they're not really, they're not really pro-military, and that's a big thing for me. So I don't know.
It's very murky. All of this is very murky. It's been like this for too long.
Yes. So let's make this one different. How about that? How'd that be? I think it'd be cool. So thank you for watching our political segment. We'll probably do another one of these when we get closer to November, and that one will break down the candidates because we'll have more time to get to know them. So we've said this, this will be the fourth time we've said this. This is just one step in a much longer process. Figure out what you value, figure out what your stance is, and then figure out what platform best reflects it. I'm still struggling because of everything that we just discussed. I've got more information now than I ever had before.
I have no idea which way I'm voting.
So, and that's an important thing. And you know what, man? That's okay. It is 100% okay to just not know, as long as you're going to do the work to try to figure out what you will go with.
It's stressful, but you got to know.
And it's important. It is your constitutional right to vote for who you think should run this country. That is your right as an American. Mm-hmm. Again, if you're watching this in Australia or some other country, that's fine. But yeah. I don't know, the screen flashed.
Charge the battery pack.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and wind this down. Please, if you have questions or comments or anything like that, drop them in the comment section on YouTube. Please like us, share us, subscribe to us if you'd like to. At Watch Chat Play on Twitter. Hit us up on Instagram, Watch Chat Play. On the Facebook page, we've been getting a lot of feedback as well. I don't care how you get in touch with us as long as you do.
Yes. If you're a Green Party member, talk to us about it. If you're a Libertarian, talk to us about it.
If you're Democratic or Republican,
let us know.
Yeah, there's more of you out there, and that's fine. And I want to hear from you as well. Like, why do you believe what you believe? Mm-hmm. Why do you back who you back? Like, tell me. And, be friggin' civil about it.
There's no reason to call names. Calling names discredits everything you say, just so you know.
The second you say, well, you guys are stupid and I can't believe this and whatever, like, you've lost all credibility because you don't have the balls to argue your case without dropping down to, insults. That's ridiculous.
That's because they don't know what they're talking about.
Usually. So, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it, and we hope you know how important this is. So, we will catch you next time. We'll do some Let's Plays and stuff like that. And
have some fun.
Have some fun. So, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.